Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to see these faces.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I will tell you, when I was working days, I did an internship on Capitol Hill. It was the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. The people there are awesome. All of these politicians.
We all in, Mel?
Yes.
All right, cool. Right, it's yours.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in our upper school town hall meeting. I want to thank all of you for your patience, your support, all the suggestions, and everything that you've offered us. We've put together a highly qualified task force, and we've created an opening plan that is so comprehensive and so specific that we hope that this presentation will answer almost all the questions that you have. We've hired a consultant, a health and safety consultant, who gave us a lot of good suggestions. We're following the CDC guidelines and the DOH guidelines. We've consulted a lawyer with our plan to make sure that we're compliant on every step. And I want you to know that we're trying to mitigate the risk. It's a risky situation. We understand how you all feel, and we're doing our best to eliminate some of the situations that might arise. Okay, so why don't we begin?
And we're going to do the questions at the end so we can get the presentations. And then also Jessica is also going to be writing down the questions, and we'll send out the questions to all the families.
Yeah, if you guys wait till the end to write your questions, because then your questions might be answered during the PowerPoint.
Okay, so this is our guideline based on CDC and DOH recommendations. We're trying to minimize the potential spread of COVID-19 in our school environment. What you're going to see in this presentation is returning to the school building, how we're going to communicate with you, the health and safety of our students and staff, the physical space, the disinfecting and cleaning, what happens if we have a suspected case protocol, what happens if we have a positive case protocol, the classrooms and the school environment, the related services and the specials, visitors, pick up and drop off, and transportation. For communication, most of you are familiar with the Everbridge alert notification system. They will send you a text, an email, and a phone call. Let me just preface at this point that we will need at least 3 viable phone numbers from each family so that in case we need to call you, we have a number that's working that you can respond to right away. Parent meetings will be held weekly, and during this time, the social work team will discuss any new updates that we have with the families. All these meetings will be held via Zoom. The executive director, myself, and Director Kevin will be providing regular updates to families via Everbridge. Our open door policy. We will continue this policy for all questions, concerns, and suggestions, meaning that you can come to us, maybe not physically, but you can come to us virtually or call us, and we'll be happy to answer any of your concerns. Nursing updates. Our nursing department will continue to be in touch with the DOH and the CDC. Our nurse is in a cohort with a bunch of nurses from other schools, and they're constantly networking and sharing notes and trying to navigate this whole COVID scene. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to speak about the health and safety. So we're requiring that all staff must always wear face coverings. We have KN95 masks as well as the blue surgical masks. And we have, I think about, what did you say, Larry? About 12,000.
12,000, that's correct. That's correct, Kev.
Yes. The staff will be provided with training in how to wear and maintain the PPE with the nurses at during our staff orientation week, as well as an in-service regarding COVID and how to be safe and how to do cleaning. We will limit the sharing of materials. We've ordered student material boxes so that all their markers, pencils, crayons, writing materials, math manipulators will be in their specific box with their name on it. So we're discouraging touching shared surfaces, and we'll be using gloves when in contact with shared objects and frequently touched areas. We'll also be working on a hand washing schedule with the kids that will start from when they come in until the end of the day. And there'll be hand sanitizing stations throughout the building. When you enter the building, there'll be a health question for students and staff. There'll be a health questionnaire that they must fill out prior to arriving in the school building. Right now for the staff, we're going to use an app called Sign App, which we're trying to get it as well for the families so that they can just go on an app and answer these questions. The nursing department and management will monitor those results. We will also do a temperature check when everyone who enters the building. And we also order thermometers for every classroom in both schools. So one of the questions will be if you're experiencing the symptoms, if a member of your student or staff's household, direct environment, we are asking that the students remain home and communicate with the school nurse and management team. And like I just said, we'll be doing on-site temperature checks upon arrival. Go to the next. There'll be a visitor's log, which is going to be maintained by the school personnel, specifically our social security guard and our front desk. There will be reference if we will need that if contact tracing is needed. So anyone outside of an employee and student who enter the building would need to give us contact information. And I just said about the health screening when they arrive in the school building, and that social distance measures will be maintained. So you can go to the next one, Mel. So the questions are, have you had any COVID-19 symptoms in the past 14 days? Have you had a positive COVID-19 test in the past 14 days? Have you had close contact with the person with the confirmed or suspected COVID-19 case in the past 14 days? And then have you traveled lately to any of the states listed? And that is changing as the governor is putting more states on the quarantine list. And I think now it's Larry.
Hey, y'all. Okay, so physical space disinfecting and cleaning. Social distancing building has been equipped with signage and taping to maintain this. Our HVAC systems, I've spent a great deal of time with engineering schematics for HVAC systems to work with our company that has upgraded and modified our air circulation. MERV 11 filters and MERV 13 filters, which you might have heard of, have been installed. Air ducts, unit filters, coils, they've all been cleaned and sanitized and will continue to be cleaned throughout our annual cleanings. Ultraviolet lights and ionizations will be added as well. Adhering to CDC and New York State Department of Health, Hygiene, Cleaning, Disinfecting requirements, we're maintaining logs on site that document date, time, and scope of last disinfection. The custodial staff will increase the frequency of cleaning, disinfecting through the day. Trash is emptied more frequently to prevent overflow of PPE. High touch areas like handrails, push doors, phones, computer doorknobs, restrooms will be disinfected frequently throughout the day. The water fountains will be cordoned off, and we'll provide and maintain hand hygiene stations on all floors, hand washing with soap, running warm water, disposable paper towels, alcohol-based hand sanitizers will be available where hand washing is not available or practical. Hand sanitizers will be available throughout common areas of school building. Hand hygiene for staff and students Washing will be mandatory immediately upon entering the school building, after using the restroom, before meal times, before leaving for related services, and upon arriving back to classrooms after related services. Protocols for restrooms will be cleaned and disinfected throughout the day using EPA-approved chemicals, disinfectant against COVID-19. One student, one staff are permitted to enter each bathroom at a time. We will continuously stock with hand soap, paper towels, and automated hand dryers where needed. Posters and signage, CDC posters and proper hand washing technique posters will be maintained in and around restroom areas. We stockpiled a remarkable amount of supplies, so we are ready for what we need to do come fall. I think Phoebe's next.
So right now, for any student who will show any symptoms of COVID-19, the student will be taken to the isolation room, and the nurse Asante, will be called to the room, and she will do assessment, and then the student will have to be picked up early. The student can only come back or return to school after 72 hours fever-free or symptom-free. And the student can only return once the doctor will give us a clearance that the student is okay, or there's a negative COVID-19 result. Then Nurse Asante will check the classroom and assess the other kids in the classroom, and we will go from there. If there is a positive COVID case in the building, for one confirmed case, the classroom will be closed for 14 days. And then if there are 2 cases, the whole school will close and while we're doing investigation. If we can't find a link between the 2 cases, the whole school will have to close for 14 days. If we can find a link between those 2 cases, only those classrooms will be closed for 14 days. During the while we're doing the investigation, we will have to unfortunately close the school while we're doing that. And next. Okay. So for that positive COVID case, that person can only return to school once they can provide a negative test result, and also once they are 72 hours symptom free, and we have a clearance from the doctor. The whole school will be cleaned every day and will be disinfecting, just like what Larry said. And the decision to remain the school will depend to, we will be in close contact with the DOH to give us the guidance of when we can open.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to take just a few moments to talk to you about what our classroom and our school environment will be like. And then later on in the slides, we'll get into exactly what your child's education will look like come September. So right now for our classrooms, we'll be operating in person at a 50% capacity. So Ray, Kev, and I have already been in all of the buildings to ensure that we were able to maintain social distancing between our students. So all of our classrooms will come back at 50% capacity. And this is to minimize the risk in the building. So while we're in the building, in the upper school, some of you are familiar with the hallways. We'll have a line down the middle with arrows pointing to which way we should be moving throughout the hallways. We're also going to be mindful that as our students are in the hallways, we're monitoring to make sure that we're minimizing the number of students and staff in the hallways at any given moment.
I started to carry my book today and I totally forgot it.
We're also going to
28.
reduce interactions among groups of adults and students. So we're gonna get into what your child's specials will look like, what APE, yoga, music, and all of that will look like, but we're no longer going to be participating in whole school or whole MSA activities. Unfortunately, during this time, it's just not safe. So anything that we would typically do whole school-wise, we'll be holding and conducting via Zoom. We will no longer be having any like group activities outside of the classrooms. We're going to be monitoring the bathrooms. So in all bathrooms, at the upper school, half of our classrooms have bathrooms inside of the classrooms, so those are safe. But in any of the public bathrooms, there won't be anything more than one student and one adult in the bathroom at a time. And students are going to be eating lunch at their desk. We're no longer going to be participating in our whole school lunches that we were doing at the upper school. For arrival and dismissal at the lower school, it's 2 students and 2 staff members in the elevator. For the upper school, which is for all of you, it's going to be, we have 2 elevators and there'll be no more than 1 student and 1 staff member in each elevator. For any student and staff that are able to use the stairs, we will be highly encouraging them to be using the stairs. That will help us to expedite our arrivals and dismissals. Team meetings for staff will happen now via Zoom. We're going to do the best that we can to have social distancing when necessary for team meetings, but all of our team meetings and enrichment meetings where we meet as a team to discuss your student and their progress and things that we can be doing better to support them, we're going to be holding those via Zoom where the participants can call in. Any meetings where we do have to have where we are in person and have to be sharing a space, we are going to be mindful that we're allowing 2-hour intervals for those meetings so that we ensure that we can disinfect any space among the adults that we've shared. All of our interactions, unfortunately, between like our greeters, our security guards, any public safety, staff and students just with each other are going to be maintained by social distance, which is 6 feet. At any point where social distance can't be maintained, we will be using dividers and plexiglass barriers. And the floor will be marked with dots so that our staff and our students understand how far apart they should be from each other.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to talk a little bit about related services. So students that are receiving counseling, hearing, and vision services will all participate in live synchronous video conferencing therapy sessions, so via Zoom. And then students are going to be using their individual schedule to attend those services, counseling, hearing, and vision. So similar to what it looks like this summer. While student cohorts are in the school buildings, an assigned staff member will facilitate the Zoom sessions with that student. So someone will be with them to help them to Zoom in for hearing, vision, and counseling. Physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy will be provided weekly per each student's mandate, just like in normal school when we're pre-COVID. You will have each student will receive their therapy in person in the building. While the student cohorts are in the school buildings, they'll attend individual sessions in designated therapy areas and offices, so either the speech rooms or in the OTPT gym. And we're also going to be using hopefully some other areas of the school just so we can spread out a little bit more when possible. While student cohorts are learning remotely, they will use their individual schedule to attend therapy sessions. Feeding therapy is going to be provided remotely, similar to hearing, vision, and counseling. While the student cohorts are in the school building, the clinicians will be available for parent consultations and training during that student's scheduled therapy time. So on a week where a child is in the school and you have a feeding session, the parent will be attending via Zoom with the clinician so they can, it's a little confusing. When the child is home, they'll be doing it via Zoom with the parent. And then when the child is in the school, the session will be used for parent consultations. Sorry to misspeak there. And we must have an adult facilitator when they're remote. So that way they can help to facilitate the feeding session.
Hi, everyone. So augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC, sessions will be provided remotely via synchronous video conferencing or Zoom. While student cohorts are in the school buildings, the clinicians will be available for teacher paraprofessional consultations and training, as well as to provide individualized programming and adaptations for AAC devices. While the student cohorts are learning remotely, the clinicians will be available for parent consultation and training. Social distancing will be encouraged to the greatest extent possible. We know that's not always going to be possible in related service provision, but the clinicians will be required to wear masks or face coverings at all times. They're going to be provided with gowns, KN95 masks, face shields, gloves, and disinfectant wipes. And we have a large stockpile, as Larry said. And we're going to be using disinfecting protocols in place between each session, including all the materials, equipment, workspace disinfecting, hand washing and sanitizing. And, you know, where possible, kids will have their own equipment for that session. Where it's not possible, everything will be sanitized in between. Can't hear you.
Marty, we still can't hear you. I can jump in here and talk about the specials. So our specials, art, APE, so adaptive physical education, and yoga and music are all going to be held via synchronous video conferencing. So that being said, our specials teachers are going to be streaming their sessions through Zoom into the classroom. So while the students are in the classroom building, they'll be seeing their specials teachers on the smartboard, and our students who are remote that week will be able to Zoom into that session as well. So they'll all be participating at the same time. During those specials, social distancing between students will be enforced as well.
Hi everyone, I'm going to be talking to you about visitors, pickups, and drop-offs. So for the time being and for the foreseeable future, we'll be prohibiting non-essential visitors. There'll be designated no contact areas for pickups and deliveries arriving to and from the building. We'll be limiting in-person gatherings of employees. So as Stephanie spoke about before, we'll be doing our team meetings and things like that via Zoom to minimize the amount of people in the rooms. And then there'll be designated pickup and drop-off areas that will be outside of the building, and all pickup of drop-off will be conducted outside of the building. So parents, caregivers, babysitters will no longer be permitted to enter the school building for pickup and drop-off. So what that's going to look like is if you drop off your child in the morning for school, you'll wait outside with them, and then a staff member will come and pick them up. And then in the afternoon, when you arrive to school to pick up your student, a staff member will bring them down to you. And then parent meetings, teacher and parent-teacher conferences will be conducted via Zoom. And then transportation. So unfortunately, as of now, we do not have that much information from OPT. Kevin, Ray, Stephanie, Larry, and I had a meeting with them a couple of weeks ago, and they just didn't have any information. They're still waiting for CDC guidelines for busing. So as soon as we get the information, we will give it to you, and hopefully OPT will be providing it to you as well. But of course, as soon as they reach out to me, I will let you know some more information about transportation.
I'm going to go through what our academic hybrid learning program is going to look like. So our students are going to start on September 14th. Our first group of students who are coming into the building are going to start on that day. So basically what's going to happen to maintain that to maintain the social distancing within the classrooms, we're going to be operating at a 50% capacity. So that being said, we've split our classrooms up into two different cohorts. So each classroom is going to be split into a cohort A and a cohort B. And when our class lists are sent out to each of the families, you'll be able to see which cohort your student or your child is assigned to. So with that, what's going to happen is our students are going to attend in-person learning on an alternating biweekly basis. So on 1 week, the cohort A is going to come into the building and do in-person learning with a few other peers, between 2 to 4 peers in the classroom at a time. And when students are not attending in-person learning, they're going to be attending online learning via Zoom, and that's going to be conducted by a TA under the supervision of the classroom teacher. So our goal is to provide instruction and information and resources to ensure that all of our students, whether they're in the building or attending via Zoom, have the opportunity for continued learning. So you can flip to the next slide. So just to talk a little bit about that online learning instruction, all of our TAs at Manhattan Star Academy are New York State certified teacher assistants. So they're going to be responsible for facilitating online learning in the domains of math, reading, and writing. And like I said, that's going to be under the supervision of the teacher. So the teacher is going to be creating and writing those lesson plans with and training the teachers on evidence-based practices, how to deliver instruction. We're going to be, still using our data to inform our instruction. And the TA is then just going to be in front of the camera facing the students who are online to deliver exactly what it is the teacher had planned, while the teacher is teaching to the students who are in person for that week. So our online students are going to be receiving our math, reading, and writing in the same mandates that they do when they're in the school building, which is math 5 times a week, reading 5 times a week, and writing 3 times a week. And just a little note is that that's subject to change, contingent on the classroom makeup. So some classrooms might have less, it might have less math and might emphasize something else more in the classroom that week, whatever it may be. And we spoke a little bit about this before, but we really are going to encourage that our online learners do come in for our specials during the week. So they will be able to just zoom right into with the rest of their peers at that time when the students have yoga, APE, music, and art. And lastly, mealtime. So we really also encourage that our online learners are going to come on for social snack and instructional lunch. So that way we can really hit on those ADL skills and social emotional skills. So, and during social snack, they'll have an opportunity to interact with their peers, and we can facilitate communication during that time. And then in instructional lunch, we can really work on all those ADL skills like self-feeding and manipulating wrappers and cleaning up and setting up a meal space, wiping their face and cleaning their hands after eating, etc. So all of those really, really important skills. And I think that is the end. So we're going to take some time now to
wait a second. I just want to
ahead.
thank the team for all their hard work.